How to love thy neighbor as thyself. This is the second greatest commandment in the Bible. Mark 12:31, Yeshua said, "Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself." Many think that this was a new commandment, but Yeshua was simply quoting from the Torah, Leviticus 19:18. "But thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am Yahweh." Leviticus 19:34. "But the stranger that dwelleth with you shall be unto you as one born among you, and thou shalt love him as thyself." Loving your neighbor is not a new commandment, but one that was established by the Father in the Torah, and of course was never abolished. Now, how do we love our neighbor? By obeying the Ten Commandments. The Ten Commandments explain how to love Yahweh and your neighbor. Exodus 20, verse 12 through 17. "Honor thy father and thy mother. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house, wife, servants, nor anything that is thy neighbor's." The Ten Commandments expound on how to love Yahweh and your neighbor. This is a sign that the Torah is totally relevant for believers today. Yeshua reaffirms on these commandments when explaining how to love thy neighbor. Matthew 19, verse 18 through 19, Yeshua said, "Thou shalt not murder, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness, honor thy father and thy mother, and thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself." If Yeshua came to abolish the old, then why is he teaching the Ten Commandments when explaining how to love? Paul also uses the Ten Commandments when explaining how to love thy neighbor. Romans 13, verse 8 through 9. "Owe no man anything but to love one another, for he that loveth one another has fulfilled the requirements of the Torah. For this, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness, thou shalt not covet. And if there be any other commandment, it is briefly comprehended in this saying, namely, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself." The Torah teaches us how to love thy neighbor as thyself. It's obvious. Yahweh commands it, Yeshua reaffirms it, and Paul backs it up in his letters. The Torah shows us how to love thy neighbor. Now this is very important to understand. You must obey the Torah from your heart. If your heart is not in it, then the sin has already been committed before the action was taken. If you have hatred in your heart with your neighbor, then you are already counted as a murderer in your heart by Yahweh. If you covet or lust in your heart, then you already sinned before any action was taken. Yahweh knows and cares about our hearts. That's where it all starts. Matthew 5, verse 21 through 22. Yeshua said, "Ye have heard that it was said by them of old time, Thou shalt not kill, and whosoever shall kill be in danger of the judgment. But I say unto you that whoever is angry with his brother without a cause shall be in danger of the judgment." Verse 27 and 28. "Ye have heard that it was said by them of old time, Thou shalt not commit adultery. But I say unto you that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her hath committed adultery with her already in his heart." Check your gut, test your heart, and make sure you are loving your neighbor from within and not just in an outward appearance. Please share and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Thank you.